Many thanks for choosing us. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. The budgetary allocation for the Ministry for Tourism will be approved without the 80 million cedis allocation to fund the construction of the National Cathedral. That's the position of the minority as the House inched closer to Christmas break. The Trade and Industry Committee last week blocked the allocation, but with barely 48 hours to go on break, the Tourism Ministry is desperate to have the allocation approved, even if it's without the 80 million for the cathedral. Ranking member on the Trade and Industry Committee, Amakofi says his committee is not satisfied with documentation provided and will not be approving the allocation.
As you recall, the Minister of Finance appeared before the committee set up by the Speaker, and that issue of the cathedral and its expenditure came up. The document we have indicated, according to the Minister of Finance, that 339 million is what had been spent. We had a lot of questions, and so, our mandate was very clear. If we are to approve additional money, first of all, is the Ministry of Tourism now with the, clothed with the authority to basically supervise the construction of the cathedral? Does that mean that the Secretariat is now under the ambit of the Ministry of Tourism? We had a lot of questions, and so it required that we invite not only the Minister of Tourism, but we bring the Minister of Finance and the Cathedral Secretariat. We did exactly that. Frankly, our first invitation was with the Minister of Tourism. The Minister of Tourism, frankly, came and couldn't give us the answers we needed in terms of the itemized list of what that 80 million was for. We sent them back and they brought the Cathedral Secretariat. Well, we asked them to give us every detail, every subcontractor, and how those contracts were awarded. They brought us some documents. Unfortunately, after we've gone through, peruse the documents, they could only account for about 225 million, which meant that we still have not gotten an account of 114 million. Now, we also asked them a pointed question about how much total that it will cost to complete the cathedral. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be shocked to listen to this. They told us, roughly, if you look at 339 million, the current exchange rate was about $42 million. They said that it will cost this country 383 million to complete the cathedral. US dollars. $383 million. We asked them for specific documentation, especially in regard to the tender documents, the procurement processes. Unfortunately, a lot of the documents were not received. Now, we arrived at this very important decision that, one, we are going to approve the Ministry of Tourism budget, but we will not, we on the minority side, will not approve the 80 million Ghana cedi because we are not satisfied with how the 339 million has been expended. We were not clearly convinced how the 80 million will be spent. In fact, we were not clearly even convinced when we brought the Minister of Finance how they couldn't justify how they use contingency vote, not one, not two, more than 3 times.
Amakofi is MP for Elembele and ranking member on the Trade and Industry Committee. To other stories, this afternoon, Ghana's foreign investors are urging government to exhibit good faith in its engagement on how to restructure its debt as part of the IMF program. Already, labor unions are up in arms, urging government to back off touching pensions as part of the engagement. The investors, who are mainly Eurobond holders, have set up a committee to track the ongoing process to safeguard their interests and ensure an orderly resolution on the debt challenges. As you may be aware, government yesterday announced a key component of the program, suspending selected external debts, including Eurobonds. Listen to the Finance Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, in order to recover all, we still have a lot of work to do before the end of the year in order to gain the full benefit of the debt exchange program. Following the stakeholder engagements, government has agreed to extend the expiration date for the domestic debt exchange to 30th December 2022 to allow for key concerns raised by stakeholders to be accommodated in some form. The launch of the debt exchange program, coupled with the signing of the staff level agreement with the IMF, have aided our stability efforts and have in particular contributed significantly to the rebound of our currency. While accommodating the inputs of stakeholders, we must do all we can to sustain the gains of these initiatives, keeping in sight the urgency of obtaining IMF board approval in Q1 2023. The cost of this not succeeding will be too huge for our economy. That is why we urge Parliament to support us in getting the appropriations bill for the 2023 fiscal year passed.
Economics Patrick Assuming says government needs to engage the stakeholders the more on this.
In some sense, the extent of the opposition also reflects the fact that many of those affected probably think that the way we are doing the burden sharing is not equitable, and that it appears that the government is not fully or is not properly taking its fair share of the cut, and then appears to be pushing this on the deck holder. So going forward, I think hopefully there's more engagement with those who are directly affected, and that we ultimately come out of this. The debt exchange program fails, and we are not able to secure the IMF program now. There's going to be a bigger pain for all of us to deal with.
Well, the director of the Institute of Statistical and Social Research, ISA, Professor Peter Korte, says government must make good use of the financial space it obtains from this move.
The pressure on government to find resources to service debt will be eased, because our debt service revenue ratio is over 60-70%. Quite a greater proportion of our tax revenue goes into debt service. So if there is some suspension to allow us to recover from the impact of the different stocks and factors, that would translate into reducing the pressure on the exchange rate. So the average Ghanaian will see a much more stable exchange rate environment. That can translate into lower fuel prices. That can translate into lower cost of items, and by extension, our livelihood. Government would also have additional revenue to spend. That are temporary, as I said, to spend to patch our potholes and pay for goods and services and many others.
Let's understand who makes up this committee. Our in-house data analyst, Kofi J, with the JoyNews channel, will break it down for us. He joins me now. Kofi, first, tell us about the entities that make up this committee that has been set up. Right, so the committee that we are told it includes the Amundi from the UK and other committees. We'll try and get Kofi AJ to join us and break it down further for us. Meanwhile, a Labour expert is urging government to discard its unilateral position regarding the use of pension funds of the public sector workers to service its domestic debt exchange program. Boachi Adam says government must engage stakeholders, particularly organized labour, for mutual solutions to the challenge. His advice comes on the back of the threats by organized labour to embark on an indefinite strike from December 27. We'll hear from Dr. Boachi shortly, but first, let's go to Kofi J, who is standing by with the breakdown for us. Kofi, first tell us which entities make up this committee we're talking about.
Well, Aisha, these entities include Aberdeen, we have also Mundi UK Limited, BlackRock, and then Greylocks Capital Management, and 91. And so these international bondholders of Ghana's Eurobond is somewhere around $13.2 billion.
Now, what does this committee intend to achieve, Kofi?
So, Aisha, if you look at the committee, according to them, they say it's focused on the orderly and comprehensive solution of Ghana's debt challenges, and recognizing that such resolutions will require fair burden sharing and collaboration among Ghanaian authorities, private creditors, both domestic and international, and official sector creditors.
Now, there's been some suggestions that we're hearing from these people on the debt restructuring and the IMF engagement. What are those suggestions?
So the committee notes that, a process of good faith negotiation, could avoid unilateral actions and require the timely exchange of detailed commercial and financial information among the committee, the Ghanaian authorities, and the IMF. So this, they say, will ensure an outcome that is both equitable to creditors and responsive to the economic and social challenges facing the Ghanaian economy.
We also know, Kofi, that some of the members of this group are affected by the debt suspension. Do we have a sense of how much relief this gives government?
Well, so the research desk, we've been studying the 2021 debt report released by the Finance Ministry. And, the total external debt service, including principal payments, interest payments, and charges between 2018 and 2021 have cost government some $9.52 billion. And, external, debt service in the period under review cost the states on average $2.4 billion every year. And if you look at principal payments, on average, cost us $1.71 billion annually, while interest payments, milks away about $1.16 billion every year as well. Now, next year, which is 2023, interest payments on our, external loans could cost the state 21.25 billion Ghana cedis, which is somewhere around $2.62 billion. And this is about 87.5% of the $3 billion we are expecting to get from the IMF. So, Aisha, a successful suspension of interest payments alone would save us some $2 billion, all things being equal.
Kofi J is an in-house data analyst, and he's been breaking things down for us. We can now hear from the Labour expert, who is warning that government must handle the situation properly.
If the government fails to talk, the other alternative is not good for anybody. Okay, so I think that currently we don't have much choice. All that we have is to engage them. Engaging them doesn't mean that you actually subject yourself to what they want. Engaging them means that you're going to explain the tenet of the system, whatever you want to do, the fundamental, the principle, what motivated this situation, what you've done over the period. You bring all the salient issues to the fore. Then we can all look at it. The union will also consider it. They will also bring their issue. But, negotiation, the outcome of negotiation is always good when it's a win-win situation. So I don't expect that the government will come to the negotiating table with a very hard stance. Neither do I expect the unions to also come with a very hard stance. What the government will have to do is to find a way to break the ice,
Okay.
so that we will have the kind of atmosphere that will actually motivate the process. Then you can have a discussion. I'm telling you that if they engage the unions, I mean, both sides will have a very fruitful contribution, which will make it easier for the two sides to understand that at the end of the day, we all have to, we don't have to cherry pick, but we all have to come to the realization that the national interest is paramount.
But once government failed to negotiate, to even engage them at all, you understand these issues. What do you think is happening? Why is government not coming to the table? And how would you describe government's, non-responsiveness to their calls all this while?
I don't understand why government has failed to negotiate or discuss the issue up to now. I only consider that as being the government is being recalcitrant. Because if you have an employee who is not happy with any matter at all, whether he is right or wrong, your responsibility as an employer is to engage him and explain why a certain action has been taken to which he or she is not happy. It's your responsibility as an employer. So why will government fail to engage? I personally don't understand. But the moment they gave you that notice that if you don't do this, we'll go on strike or we'll embark on industrial action from 7 days. It was a clear indication of an invitation to engage.
Yeah.
That notice was an invitation to engage. So I don't understand why we've not engaged up to now.
The minority in Parliament says farmers are set to face a crisis during the next planting season if government does not settle its indebtedness to suppliers. Government currently owes suppliers of fertilizer and improved seedlings several millions of cedis. Deputy Ranking Member on the Food and Agriculture Committee, Dr. Godfrey Seidu Jassel, says the suppliers are threatening to freeze supplies to farmers who desperately need them. He was speaking during the consideration of the budget estimates for the Ministry of Agriculture.
As we speak, because of the challenges of arrears that the ministry is facing, non-availability of money, and therefore even the budget of 2.1 billion that is being allocated to the ministry now, almost 1 billion will be used to settle arrears if the money does come at all. Mr. Speaker, that is not a good impression for a ministry that we are supposed to rely on for production of the very food that we need to survive as a people. Mr. Speaker, even with this, if it comes, I don't know how the next production season is going to pan out. Because, Mr. Speaker, as we speaking to industry players, most suppliers of fertilizer and improved seeds that have been registered to supply these inputs for Planting for Food and Jobs programs have threatened not to supply for the next production year because they have been owed money that they have not been paid. They have not been paid simply because the Ministry of Finance have not released money to the Ministry of Agriculture to be able to settle this indebtedness. Mr. Speaker, that said, it means that our farmers are likely not to have the adequate supply of these inputs that we so require to prosecute the next production season. Mr. Speaker, if seed suppliers and fertilizer suppliers pull out, that means that we are likely to have a deficit, a big deficit in production. That is likely to spell out food insecurity for this country, and that might be a crisis, and we have to look at it.
Government has decided to implement a net metering system to get residents with renewable energy devices to produce and export power to the national grid. This was revealed at a meeting on net metering guidelines by the PURC and USAID West Africa Energy Program. There's more in the following report.
Net metering has to do with, for instance, individuals who have solar panels on their roofs and decide that they want to generate and put some excess, which they are not consuming in their homes, onto the grid. Or if they are running at a loss, they import from the grid into their homes.
Dr. Kofi Obote, Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, explaining what the net metering system is about. According to him, this will result in more power being made available to industry.
Well, the decision is merely to, offload a lot of consumers or residential consumers from the traditional means of generation, so we can have enough power to serve industries. So we can take people who can afford to actually generate electricity in their homes, and we have excess capacity to be able to serve industries, just to boost industrialization in the country.
He explains further how the system will work for individual homeowners who have access to solar panels.
So if there's a situation whereby they are exporting, then they will have the utility compensating them at the end of the year. And if they are importing as well, then they have to compensate the utilities. Yeah, because you still continue to be a customer of the utility company, they will not give you physical cash, but they could give you back in terms of credit or the units that you have. So you might have more units to consume.
Dr. Obute says the net metering system will have a great impact on participants.
Well, the impact is that your bill will go down, depending on whether you are a net exporter or a net. If you are a net importer, your bill will go down, but not by a considerable margin. And if you are a net exporter, your bill will go down considerably because you have to generate more, which you are putting onto the grid. So the utility company will pay you extra. So your bill that you pay will actually be less than if you are not on that particular metering system.
5 years ago, she almost died, but for the timely intervention of a JoyNews vehicle, which was used as an ambulance to carry her from the deprived town of Tadando in the Pandai district to a health facility to deliver. JoyNews team found her riding dangerously on a motorbike while bleeding. After transporting her for safe delivery, Edonker's husband named their son Kwabena Joy to honor JoyNews. Jojo Kobena reports that Kwabena Joy is doing well and has started schooling.
5 years ago, a lady from Tadando in the Pandai district of the northern region went into labor at night. But because of the terrible nature of the road linking the hospital, which is about 10 kilometers away, her family decided to try home delivery. But the baby would not come out. So the young lady, named Idonker, started bleeding profusely throughout the night. On her journey to the hospital, during the day on a motorbike, we found them. She could not balance properly on the motorbike, and Idonker winched in agonizing pain. Confronted with a moral duty, we abandoned our journalism exploits and transported her to the hospital. The road was riddled with potholes, and anytime our vehicle slammed into a pothole, Idonker scowled in pain. She successfully delivered a baby boy after a cesarean section.
Kwabena Joy.
A family named the boy Kwabena Joy to honor JoyNews. Kwabena Joy is now 5 years and currently in kindergarten. He actively plays in class, but recalled when he saw the news team. The boy's father, named Jagri, was excited and said he never dreamt would visit him again.
Oh, I am happy. Very happy. I was really in trouble and in hot waters when I was sending my wife to deliver 5 years ago. But when I saw your team with a vehicle, I told myself that I have met my God who is here to rescue me. I named my boy Joy, and indeed my boy has brought me indescribable joy.
Idonker now has a daughter. She said without JoyNews, she may have lost her child and even died.
This is the boy and the girl. By God's grace, I'll add more. It wasn't easy 5 years ago. I was not conscious of what was happening around me. I was in pain. I don't know what would have happened if you guys had not come to our rescue. I am very grateful.
The single story of Kwabena Joy has brought multiple impacts to the Pandai district. The Evangelical Church of Ghana Hospital, where Idonkur delivered, and now has an anesthetic machine. The machine was donated after JoyNews highlighted what Idonkur went through to deliver through cesarean section without using an anesthetic machine. Idonkur is grateful to government for constructing roads in the town, but also wants other arterial roads, such as the Pandai-Salaga Road, constructed.
We want government to construct more roads, and also we want a health center close to our community so we can easily commute.
This is indeed the power of a single story. Jojo Kobna, JoyNews.
It's 5 days to Christmas, and many are hoping the festivities this year would be phenomenal. Well, JoyNews was at the Makola market to gauge the festive atmosphere and sample views of expectations for this year's holidays.
It's a busy afternoon here at the Makola market. At a time like this, one will expect shops to be filled with customers waiting for their turn to purchase goods and foodstuffs for the festivities. It's a different situation today. Many have attributed this to the current economic crisis. Abigail is one of the shoppers at the Makola market. She tells JoyNews this Christmas will be different for her family because they have a tighter budget.
Last year, we had a bonfire at home on 31st night. Then after the bonfire on the 1st, we went to La Palm Beach, the whole family. We went to just rest and enjoy. Like, it was nice because the whole family came together, we swam, we ate, and it was a nice experience for us. But Dad said this year, the economy, so we'll just be home. Normal family gatherings, nothing like a holiday or anything like that.
Sawa's story is, however, different. She and her family have been planning for the festivities all year round, a reason the current economic crisis won't affect their festivities.
I had a very, very good celebration last year, and then I'm here to celebrate again this year too. That's why I'm here to do shopping for Christmas for myself and my kids and everyone. People are complaining a lot, but I don't know, I'm not seeing it, okay? It all depends on how you manage your finances. You don't spend much, and then you know how to manage. You will be able to save towards any occasion. Yeah, so that's what I've been able to do.
For these children who are oblivious of the current situation, Christmas should be fun and filled with happy moments.
The thing I like is when my grandparents and my mothers and fathers come to my house and give me presents. When I woke up, they were there. They gave me a lot of presents. I pray they come and give me more presents.
What I look forward to is to being with the family, celebrating like last year, which was very nice.
Whatever happens, Ghanaians still look forward to having a good time this Christmas. Lois Tay's report read to you.
Well, you may just be able to afford the items on your Christmas shopping list as traders in Kantamanto agree to reduce prices of their wares following the appreciation of the cedi and the marginal reduction of transport fares. Let's go live to Kantamanto, where the leadership is holding a news conference.
We have this press release. The heading is Used Clothing Dealers Acknowledges Government Effort. The Ghana Used Clothing Dealers Association desire to acknowledge the outstanding effort of the government and the Bank of Ghana in stabilizing the value of the cedi amid inflation crisis. We send our regards and encourage the government to continue to implement measures that will help the appreciation of the cedi and bring relief into the business communities in Ghana. In view of the current positive change in the value of the cedi, we have reduced prices of the second-hand clothing goods by 30% to our customers to facilitate easy buying and selling. We therefore appeal to the public and members in the sector of second-hand clothing to adjust their prices accordingly for customers to have a positive feel of the trend. We hope that the government will continue with the positive energy in stabilizing the value of the cedi as it appreciates, and we will believe that the economic stability will be maintained with their immense effort. Thank you.
So you may start your shopping now. Let's take a break on Joy News today. When we return, there's the very latest coming from the world of business.
And it's time to do business. My name is Beverly Broom. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture is partnering Adepa Fertilizer and Agro Input Dealer to support farmers in crop production. The Department of Agriculture is enthused about the private sector initiative to produce mass organic fertilizers to transform the food and agriculture industry. Love FM's Nana Boachi Yadom has more in the following report.
Farmers at Drobonso in the Seche Afram Plains participated in a field demonstration and training in the adoption of Adepa fertilizer in crop production. Kojo Educhum, whose company produces Adepa fertilizer, explained how organic fertilizer can be helpful on farm products.
Adepa agro organic pesticide.
We decided to begin the production of agro-organic fertilizers when the Folami worm started to take over our farms. We came out with the Adepa fertilizer when it became difficult to access organic fertilizers some time ago. At the moment, it's been able to help our farmers and to support government's Planting for Food and Jobs initiative.
Adepa organic liquid fertilizer and so on. Abba, ejaso. Se kweni biya no oba. The
Ashanti Regional Director of Agriculture, Reverend John Menu, described a global shortage in the supply of inorganic fertilizer, resulting in soaring prices. He is confident the locally produced fertilizer will ease supply on farmers and help sustain food production.
We are not relying only on Adepa. We have the Kumasi compost recycling company that is also coming out of compost that is packaged to support, because really we need a lot of volumes as far as organic fertilizers are concerned, because we're patronizing foreign products. You know, it was also competing with the farmers produce over here. So we are also encouraging our farmers to also expand their acreages, because when we are banning the import of other products, it means our production base should be expanded.
The Drobonso District Director of Agriculture, Daniel Kwabena Eji, re-echoed the harm of illegal mining to farmlands. He, however, called for the patronization of farming among the youth.
Previously, agriculture was not fetching a lot, but now agriculture is even giving faster income. It isn't like first when our farmers were doing only cocoa and that would take 5, 6, 7 years before you get income. Now, these crops are fetching rice. Within 3, 4 months, your rice is ready. And now even the paddy, they are selling it here 700, 800 Ghana cedi. And 1 acre, you can get about 16 bags, 20 bags. So if you are a youth and you are producing even 1 acre, 16 bags of rice, multiplied by 800. How much is that? So why worrying yourself in Galamsey when you can do peaceful work in agriculture?
Nana Boachi Dankwa Yada reporting for Joy News.
Now, a total of 2,025 liters of illicit petroleum product concealed in yellow jerry cans, popularly known as 4 gallons, and kept in a commercial vehicle has been impounded at Hamile in the Labusi district of the Upper West region. A combined team of personnel from Security Intelligence Directorate, the National Petroleum Authority and the Ghana Armed Forces impounded the vehicle loaded with the illicit petroleum products. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
Communications Manager of the MPA,
Mohamed Abdul Kudus, in an exclusive interview with JoyNews, stated that the products, which were kept in 81 jelly cans and valued over 30,000 Ghana cedis, is suspected to be smuggled into the country from neighboring Burkina Faso. The vehicle, with registration number UW113-14, was spotted loaded with unwholesome products plying on approved routes around the Hamley enclave.
Preliminary investigation around the product where the various standards were measured to see whether the product actually were genuine, or if you want a good product for the market. It has failed in all of the tests, which means that the product is of dubious source. My understanding is that it is still in the custody of the military to whom that particular exercise was carried upon. I must add that the protocol as it is normally starts from the region. The region submits the report to the head office, and the determination is made at the head office on the finality of the investigation and subsequent punishment that is supposed to come alongside. My information is that the report has come to the head office and the process has actually been activated. And as and when the determination is made of what to be done with the product and the people responsible for that particular product, we would actually be putting it out to the public.
And that's all for business. We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom. Have a good afternoon.
Let's do sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Ablai. President of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, says the gone-by FIFA World Cup has shown the world that football is a tool for uniting people. According to him, the Western media had branded Qatar as a country that has got human rights issues, but the competition displayed a different story. Well, House of Oak skipper Fatawu Isahako has been speaking about his days with the club. He spoke about how a treatment meted out to the players was so embarrassing. And according to him, star player of the team, Afriye Bania, should not extend his contract if he wants the welfare of himself and that of his family.
Sometimes any journalists we are doing work together. But when you do something now, you have to, when you are bringing something out, you have to bring all the stories so that if you see the good things, then you hear to the bad things. But sometimes we go and we bring the negative ones outside so that it will cover like the good things that you have said. Because this issue that is circulating is about Afriye, I talk Afriye contract matter and then stuffs. In which what I say, no, it was not bad intention or something like that, because if you listen to the full video, I told them that if Afriye signed, then if you go in now, they have to focus in something. For him go in now, then they will take. It's good for House of Folk to receive something from Afriye Bani than for him to go free. But for him to advise him to stay in Ghana Premier League, to stay and play Ghana Premier League there, I will not advise him to do that. But the message that came outside was different thing. So I use this platform to say, apologize to each and every Ghanaian, each and every House of Folk fan that OT had this issue, then he or she is hurt. So I use this platform to tell them that I'm big sorry to what I said. So.
And the party is never ending in Argentina as the team arrived earlier today to a rousing welcome at the airport with many people singing and dancing. This is how we wrap up sports here on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla. Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. And our preparations are underway for the highly anticipated Night with the Stars concert at the Rotary Park in Kumasi. Some of the country's
Finest entertainers Kwabna Samini, Kofi Kinata, Akwawa Jackie, and Abrantia Amachide will thrill patrons on December 26th. Love FM's Nana Boache Yadom takes a look at preparations leading to the big concert.
Yes, people. On the 26th of December is the night with the stars inside Kumasi.
Osaikum is certainly the place to be this Christmas. The legendary night with your favorite superstars.
I'm coming with my band. It's going to be massive. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Let's meet and have fun this festive season at the Kumasi Ratri Park.
Are you ready for all the exhilarations on the 26th of December as Love FM and Insure FM comes to you with the most exciting moment you can ever have with your family? It's a night with the stars. I have with me DJ Ruben as he tells us the preparations so far.
All right, so as you can see, we're in a preparatory mood for 26th December, Boxing Day, night with the stars right here in Kumasi. I tell you what, there's nothing like it. Setup for the stage is ongoing.
Anzalak Samini says everything is set for his annual experience event at the Grand Arena. Speaking in an interview with JoyNews, the baby hitmaker says this year's event is one not to miss come 24th of December.
Well, everything is good so far. Everything is under control. Preparation-wise, we have everything intact. Me and the band have been going back to back every day, overnight, you know, just making sure everything is tight for the people. So it's going to be a power-packed, you know, performance, because this is usually that stage that I get to do my full set for my fans who don't want too much interruption from different sets. So this is going to be me, like, full set for my fans. Yes, of course, a few appearances from some of my friends, you know, always expect that.
I know that this will sound a bit cliche, but how do you even keep going every single time, giving us every single time Samini experience, Samini Fest, and the other things? How?
Well, it's just, you know, focus, basically, you know. You have to treat it as your job. This is how we feed ourselves and our families. So we have to put all the strategies and all the everything else that you need in place, all the arsenal in place to keep you afloat. So that's what I'm just about.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. For more Showbiz news, log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find it. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Thank you. I'm certainly taking you to the concert in Kumasi, and you can't say no. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. More news on myjoyonline.com. You get updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.